What is up, guys? Vincenzo from home of Milan coming back at you once again. Furthermore, today we got a lot to review in today's video regarding the Napoli game. Before we get into it, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you guys like and comment. I want to know what you guys think about the video. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter or X. All at home of Milan. Twitter is home of Milan1. Without any further ado, let's get into this. Milan played the best attacking and pressing style of football we've seen this season. We kind of got a glimpse of what this team could play like if they stay at a consistent level. So first things first, in the first half, obviously Milan were pressing and playing great, and Milan came out guns blazing. We saw Milan playing a very aggressive style, but unfortunately in the 19th minute, we saw Pierre Kalulu go down with an injury as he clashed with his thigh. I believe reports are out he's going to be out for 4 months, which is a massive, massive blow because he usually doesn't really get injured, and we've seen this injury carry on into this season, and now he gets injured again in his very first start of the year, right? And it's unfortunate because he was a very crucial part of our rotation in defense, so it's going to be tough to lose a player like Kalulu who's very crucial. But with that being said, we saw Marco Pellegrino get his first debut in first minutes under Milan, and there was a lot of question marks regarding his ability, if he was ready for the league. And we haven't seen anything from him, right? We don't know how good he was and everything like that. And you can tell the nerves got to him, right? Going to a place like Napoli, it's not an easy place to play, right? In the south, a very hostile crowd, everything like that. And he was making a lot of mistakes, but when you're thrown into the deep end in a team, the defending champs, right? It's a lot to ask for a 21-year-old who, doesn't really know our team that much, never got minutes, not even in preseason, and it's a lot to ask for. So I'll give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, but regardless, we'll get on to his performance later. So 3 minutes later, we got the first goal, right? It was a great ball in from Pulisic, and he's been absolutely electric, grabbing an assist, and it's helped in by Olivier Giroud, and it's 1-0, right? So very, very optimistic going through because we're playing good, we're pressing, and we're, very aggressive right now. So it was 13 minutes later. It's a ball in from Calabria, who had a fantastic game, and we'll get onto him later. Calabria with a great assist, and it's Giroud who heads it into the back post, and it's 2-0. It's very encouraging to see because, the last couple of games, obviously against the Juve game, it was very underwhelming, with the unfortunate loss. And then with PSG, it was a super negative result. So to see this team really come back and really show our colors, aggressive style of play, pressing, and, showing that fire in their eyes once again, it was very encouraging to see. And I was concerned because I was hoping, okay, we're playing very aggressive and we're pressing a lot, and I'm hoping that we just don't tire ourselves out, because we are very limited on subs at this point. We don't really have a lot of midfielders coming in. We don't have a lot of attackers on the bench, rather quality attackers to come off the bench. So I was hoping, we don't really tire out. We finished the half and we could have gotten a 3-0. It was a Reinders tap, and it was right above the penalty spot, but he skies it over. And I feel like there's a lot of pressure on Reinders to score, which he does not need to score. I don't think that's his role at all whatsoever. He's not a goal scorer. He's the facilitator. He's someone who kind of dictates the play, dictates the tempo, and really kind of controls the midfield and controls the game. And that's his role. His role isn't to score, and I feel like there's a lot of pressure on him to score. But with that being said, he unfortunately missed. It was a nice little ball on from Teo on the top of the penalty spot, and he skied it over. That was kind of just the end of the first half. Very aggressive, very encouraging styles of play that we've seen. We're hoping that we can kind of carry it into the second half. But right as soon as the first minute blew, first of all, Pioli made the substitution, Pulisic coming off and Luca Romero coming in. And I was so confused why Pulisic was coming off. Pulisic is one of our most creative players. He has no weak foot whatsoever. He, can cross with his right. He can cross with his left. He can shoot with his right, shoot with his left. From the first minute, we saw Luca Romero come in, and we saw things go absolutely downhill. Napoli were really pressing our, left-handed side of defense, right? Because we saw Pellegrino come in for Kalulu, Tomori moved to right center back, Pellegrino left center back, and Teo didn't really have his best game either. So Napoli were really pressuring that side because Calabria and Tomori on that side absolutely locked up Kvaratskhelia. So it was very I liked everything that I saw from Calabria and Tomori. They played absolutely great, but as of Pellegrino and Teo, they absolutely got rinsed on that left hand side. Politano, with the first goal, he got past Teo and then he dinked it over Pellegrino, who I think overcommitted a little bit, and he shoots it right at Mike Magnon, who I think should be doing better on this. It shoots it right at him and he doesn't save it. 2-1 to Napoli. And I think at this point, this is where the momentum started to shift because we saw Napoli be so aggressive. Obviously, we saw, I think, Ostergaard and um, Simeone come in, and they changed the game, right? It was just a more aggressive Napoli, and it was a more Napoli who's very progressive going forward. There's a lot of controversy behind this second goal because it was a foul that Luca Romero gave away, and me personally, I don't think it was a foul. I think it was a little light, and it was a brilliantly taken free kick from Raspadori. But I mean, again, I think there's blood on Magnon's hand. He's got to set up his wall because he sets up two walls. He sets up a wall, in front of the side that he's not covering. He sets up another wall to the side where he is covering. So I don't know what he's doing here. And if he doesn't see it go over the wall, he has to anticipate it's going around. And yes, it's a brilliant free kick. It curled right around into the near post. But regardless, I think Magnon has to be doing better. Yeah, from there, Milan couldn't create anything. Nothing, going forward, no creativity. And there was a lack of quality, right? Mr. Rade Krunic, he let us down once again, right? Another stinker performance, against Juve, against PSG, and against Napoli. He's clearly not match fit from his injury. And of course, this is Pioli's favorite player, right? This is Pioli's favorite player. He always plays him. There was just overall a lack of cohesion and zero communication going forward. And there was clearly a lack of a plan and trying to undo our mistakes, right? We were just so sloppy in the second half. And it's so crazy how on a flip of a switch, how worse we can play. And it's crazy. And this comes down to Pioli's man management, his game management. And Pioli, instead of making subs straight away to stop the bleeding, he makes the next substitution in the 80th minute when the game is not put to bed, but he takes off our most dynamic player in Rafael Leao, and he takes out our only striker who can really win headers and be a poacher inside the box and really, get those scrappy goals. I've seen enough of Luka Jovic. He brings absolutely nothing to this team. He makes Nikola Kalinic look like Ronaldo Fenomeno, and it's insane how many opportunities this Luka Jovic gets over Okafor, and I've seen enough. Over it. And the one time I was hoping to see Tommaso Pobega warm up on the sideline, Pioli decides not to play him. And, this could have been a substitution that really, brings that physicality in the midfield. Take out Krunic, put in Pobega. Yes, Pobega isn't the most clinical or most creative player, but he brings that physicality, which I think we were lacking a lot. Or even, sub in a Yassine Adli, right? But no, we saw none of that. And it clearly showed because when we needed a creative outlet to get the ball forward, to, get into those spaces, Pioli didn't make those subs. And it showed because we were lacking that in the second half, right? Because when you sub out Pulisic, our most creative player, you need to compensate. And when it comes to Krunic, he cannot be a starter anymore, especially if he's still trying to recover from this injury. He cannot be the one that goes in. And that goes on Pioli's not only man management, but game management as well. Trying to read the game, trying to, see, what kind of options we can get going forward and see what we can create. With that being said, let's go to tops and flops. I'm going to say my top is Calabria once again because it's another game where he had a positive performance and he really locked down Kvaratskhelia. Kvaratskhelia didn't cause any problems for us whatsoever other than that last minute shot that Magnon saved. Other than that, Kvaratskhelia did nothing, right? Calabria did great and he grabbed an assist for the second goal. So for me, top goes to Calabria. For the flop of the match, you can take your pick here because there's so many options. But for me, I think I'm going to go with Magnon. I feel like he made a lot of mistakes. Distribution-wise, just wasn't there. The first goal, I feel like, could have been prevented. And with the second goal, although it was a brilliant free kick, I think he should have been doing better, controlling his wall and really commanding that space like we've seen before. I think this is the first time Stefano Pioli's job is on the line. He's really in the hot seat now because Milan haven't won in 3 consecutive games, right? We lost against Juve. And it's not like, okay, you can lose a game but still play well. But here's the thing. When you lose a game, we're gonna, go in order from Juventus, PSG to Napoli. When you lose a game in the fashion you did against Juventus, obviously, yes, we were down to 10 men, but then it comes down to how you react in the next game, right? Because a lot of us, we were salty. We didn't feel like we should have lost against Juve, a draw at minimum. So then, okay, there's a lot of optimism going into the PSG game. But Pioli was very ignorant in this game, playing a high line against PSG, which if you do that, that's basically suicide. When you have a PSG attacking trio of Mbappe, Colomouani, and Ousmane Dembele. So you play a high line against probably the fastest trio in world football, and we get killed 3-0, absolutely embarrassed. And the players, I feel like we're turning on Pioli. We saw Calabria with the negative comments, at the end of the game regarding, the game plan and us playing a high line. And we saw it again today. Leao got subbed out and he was furious. There's videos of him, talking to Pioli and, kind of, confronting him about it. And obviously Olivier Giroud, he didn't even go sit on the bench. He sat on the side of the bench on a cooler with his head in his hands. But then when you get guys like Pioli who are taking out our most dynamic players, our match winners, at least put Okafor on with someone who can, link up with him and, really help him out to score a goal. There's a lot of, question marks regarding Pioli's man management and his game management. And this was, I think, one of the most clear signs that we've seen Stefano Pioli in that space. Giroud at the end of the game say comments, like after the first Napoli goal, we didn't know whether to attack or defend. So that's all you gotta need to know for Pioli's lack of leadership and lack of just direction as well. And he's definitely in the hot seat for sure. So we'll see. We play Udinese this weekend, and there is no shadow of a doubt we have to get 3 points here because we've dropped points for the second time in a row this week. And, when you're up 2-0 and you lose in this fashion, it cannot happen. With that being said, we sit in third place, dropping points, and this feels more like a loss. But on the bright side, we're done with all the hard fixtures, right? We played Napoli, we played Juventus, we played Inter, we played Roma, and we played Lazio. So all, the top, 5, 6 teams that we've played are over and done with. So from here now, it has to be getting maximum points. I think that's the most crucial thing is really getting this team back together, getting the cohesion, getting the chemistry back, and getting this team, back to winning ways. Because if we keep dropping points, then the morale is going to go down. We can't have that toxicity in the locker room. And maybe that comes down to Pioli at the end of the day, because at this point, we've seen it in back-to-back weeks where players are turning on Pioli, right? We saw our captain Calabria question him against PSG. We've seen, one of our veterans in Giroud question him again. And we've seen our best player question him as well. Why am I getting subbed out? I'm the best guy. Obviously, he didn't say that, but, you can kind of see it in, his body language. I could change the game. I could do something. But he took him off. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below. Let me know if, this game was all on Pioli, if Magnon could have done better, who was your top, who was your flop. And I really want to hear your guys' thoughts and concerns in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. And check us out on TikTok at Home of Milan, Instagram at Home of Milan, and Twitter at Home of Milan1. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao ragazzi.